two sons I refused to milk on 20 cows just to lose money on the price of milk. 7 years ago, we were getting $26, 800 pounds of milk we could sell. When COVID came through and we lost our schools in our restaurant business at 26, dropped to $11. Needless to say, a lot of dairy farmers need to sell their cows and go out of business. We expect one of those 60 cows to walk up here almost 3 times a day and give between 20 and 30 pounds a visit to average about 85 pounds for 10 gallons of milk every day. We've had a couple cows giving over 200 pounds of milk in one day. That's over 22 gallons. They're coming 4 or 5 times a day. The more milk a cow gives, the more time she can use the robot. Cows are going to lay down between 10 to 12 hours a day. When a cow lays down, their blood pressure is going to increase by 50%. That's when the cows will make most of their milk. Cows are going to sleep only 4 hours a day in very short vitamin naps. But the main reason she's going to feel stand up and want to walk up here and come through our robots is right up here. And to you, this looks like a rabbit pellet. But to the cow, it's a molasses candy pellet treat. And when she walks into one of our booths below us, these pellets are going to go into a bowl, which she will then start eating while she's being milked. Not only are we giving her the pellets, we're going to add some molasses out of that barrel to make the pellets even sweeter and more delicious. This is what we call a wind tunnel ventilated barn. All the fans running behind us can create a wind velocity going over here between 10 to 12 miles an hour. Flies don't like wind. We have 6 high pressure water misters in our last 6 fans on the pack. As you can see, they'll kick out when it gets 84 degrees. Last summer when it hit 90 degrees here, we had all our fans running, all our misters on. And I took a thermometer on my chest and walked out there with a cow and we were walking her lane. It was 74 degrees on a 90-degree day and a cow barn birds and flies. Not too bad a place to be. Believe it or not, I've actually had people stand where you're standing right now and tell me that this barn feels better than our house does.
Wow.
Last winter I got down 11 degrees below zero here. All our fans on thermostat and the computer are either going to slow down or shut down. But the cow's walking furnace on 4 legs. With a body temperature of 101.2 degrees, this cow is constantly giving out body heat, which it did that cold day, to still keep this barn temperature at 26 degrees, where nothing's going to freeze at 26 degrees. A cow's ideal comfort zone is 55 degrees. They can also drink their water out of those cement boxes, straight out of there, which could be heated in the wintertime if necessary. The long alley that runs the full length of the barn is automatic to restrape every 2 to 3 hours. The scraper is like a giant squeegee, and it's going to just push all the manure clear down to the end of the barn, where it's going to fall into a gutter that is carried out to our lagoon, which I like to think of as my Olympic swimming pool that I've still yet to swim in. And we're going to clean this lagoon out 2 or 3 times a year and spread that on our fields of alfalfa, corn, and soybeans as fertilizer. My 2 sons are going to scrape the rubber in front of the robots off twice a day. The cows are laying on the sawdust, compost, and pack. Every spring we will come in here and remove the top 3-foot of that compost, and we'll spread that in our field as fertilizer as well. We add new sawdust to that every 3 or 4 days and till it twice a day with an old corn cultivator, keeping it all up, making compost out of it. One of these cows has a pill in her stomach. It's about 3 inches long, about 1 inch diameter. It'll stay there for the life of the pill. Life of the cow. This pill is going to tell us what the cow's temperature is, 36 hours before she's going to calve, how much water she's drinking a day, 2 days ahead of time before she will show any physical signs of being sick, how her stomach is ruminating, and when she needs to artificial inseminate, all by looking on her phone. When my son is notified on his phone that he has a cow that needs to be inseminated, he will go on our liquid nitrogen tank that we have on the farm and pull out the bowl he's going to make that cow with and go ahead and inseminate that cow. We'll buy all our bulls from several bull sets throughout the United States and Canada. We have sales reps stopping for these bull sets 2 or 3 times a month. When that sales rep stops in, he's going to have a catalog of between 300 and 400 bulls. It's all genetics and genomics, and that's no bull. My sons are going to have to decide if they want to buy a regular bull or a bull that's been sexed. Choosing a sex bull is going to give us a 95% chance to obtain a female offspring that's breastfed is not quite as fertile as regular bulls, and it will cost you almost twice as much. We also do in vitro fertilization on these cows. The gestation for a cow is 9 months, just like a human. The average age of girls today is 5 years of age. We just recently lost our oldest cow at 18 a few months ago. That's almost 3 times the age of a normal cow. Strangely enough, another cow knocked her down. She broke her leg. Cow, just like osteoporosis, and this is what was her downfall. We have 2 breeds of cows currently on our farm today. We have our Jerseys, they're very shaded brown and black. They're the smallest of the dairy breed. They can weigh between 13 to 1,500 pounds. They make the ideal family cow, giving the richest milk is perfect for making butter and ice cream. Our Holsteins can weigh over 2,000 pounds. As you see behind me, they can either be red and white or black and white. It takes 2 red recessive genes to come up with a red Holstein, just like humans. It always takes 2. Our bull in the corner pen, Marvin, the red Holstein bull, weighs about 2,500 pounds. He's going to eat about a garbage can, about 85 pounds of food every day. We will not get in pen with Marvin. He can crush us with his head. Last year, 23 people were killed by bulls in the United States. It's just like playing with a stick of dynamite because you never know when it's going to explode. Marvin's mother, right currently down the lane in the middle there, Mercy, weighs about 2,200 pounds. We take the first letter of the mother's name, Mercy, and that's how we come up with our offspring, hence Marvin. We have 12 different families on our farm. Each different family is going to start with a different larvae of them. These are maternity pens or special needs pens. So most of them are all pregnant. There might be 1 or 2 that has a sore foot problem. Once a cow has a calf, it's going to stay with this calf about a week, allowing the calf to nurse, but the mother's still coming through the robot and getting milk at least twice a day, and then programmed to go back and be with the calf so the calf can still nurse. After about a week, it is necessary to separate the mother from the baby. Otherwise, the mother's going to stop producing milk and is going to dry herself out. The baby's going to learn how to drink out of a bucket. When they moved on into our nursery. There in the nursery, she will have access to milk, water, and pellets until about 3 months of age. And then she's going to move into our heifer barn directly behind you. She's going to start down through a series of pens. By the time she gets clearly into the barn, she'll be between 14 and 15 months of age and hopefully with calf. Once she's with calf, we put her on the other side of the barn, and there she's going to stay until just before she has a calf. And bring her back over here like those last 2 in the end pen, where they can be watched and assisted if they need any help covering their calf. Over 98% of our calves are all born here unassisted. Over the course of a year, we're going to have between 140 to 160 calves born here year-round, and we're going to handle 99% of all our calving difficulties all by ourselves. 3 years ago, we had to call in our veterinarian to come up and do a C-section on a cow. Only the 4th C-section done here on a cow in my lifetime. Over the course of a year, we're going to have about a dozen sets of twins born and a dozen breeds. When the calf is coming breeds, that's backwards. They will need to be extracted as quickly as possible, or they're not going to survive the birthing process. A single birth calf usually weighs between 90 to 120 pounds and is going to be standing up within 15 to 20 to being born nursing. A breech calf can weigh between 140 to 150 pounds while the uterus is back. The calf out through the uterus and cannot make that final turn to come out head first. We expect the female calf born today to have a baby in 2 years, then have a calf every year thereafter. A cow will not start producing milk until she's had a calf and has started lactating. We keep all our female or heifer calves, our bull calves are kept for 3 months. We then have a neighboring farmer who will come in and buy these bull calves to be taken back to his farm. So he will raise them to be 14 and 1,500 pound steers to then be sold to the Shuler livestock farm in Indiana for beef. This barn pretty much runs on a computer. The fans, the colder it gets, they slow down or shut off. The warmer it gets, they speed up. The lights at 11 o'clock tonight are going at a half power. They'll pull power back up at 5 o'clock the next morning. There are 3 curtains on the front of the barn. The colder it gets, it will close up, and the warmer it gets, it will open up. If you can look through the fans and the trees and leaves, there's a white ranch-style house. That's where I live. Back in 1928, that house wasn't there, but my great-grandfather 80 years old, was out there watching my grandpa and my uncle working on a piece of farm machinery. Well, my great-grandfather, 80 years old, keeled over, probably had a heart attack and died. So my grandpa and my uncle picked my great-grandfather up and started carrying him and running the old farmhouse just around the corner, about 800 foot away. They had to run through some tall grass, which ended up tripping and dropping my great-grandfather on the ground. That was a good thing. That thump on the ground must have restarted my great-grandfather's heart, and Henry went on to be 89 years old from being 80. Does anybody have any questions? One of the things you didn't hear was, feel free to take pictures, and there's no such thing as a dumb question on dairy farm. We're now going to go downstairs and pet the calves. You can let them suck your hand, let them pet them. We have windows, you can see the cows being milked with the robots. Any questions? I'm sorry? Yesterday morning.
Oh!
In our old barn, much like Rita, we can get up at 3:45, we go out and start feeding, cleaning, and milking. If everything pretty smoothly, we get there about 7 or 7:30, 3:45 in the afternoon, same thing all over again. That was our schedule pretty much 365 days a year. When we get invited to a wedding, we didn't even consider going to the ceremony. We were too busy trying to make the reception, and a lot of the time we'd be late for that as well. Once we put our robots in, I took my entire family to Holland, Michigan, where we see my nephew get married at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. His reception followed. My boys had any questions on the robots. All they had to do was look on their phone. I can't help but believe if they would have allowed robots in this country 30 years ago, I would still have many of my family's friends milking cows instead of watching their kids grow up to be a lawyer, doctor, and teacher. Nobody wants to be a slave on a dairy farm. We have a state milk inspector that comes twice a year. A grade A milk inspector is every year and a half. And the FDA milk inspector every 2 years, all unannounced. We belong to a co-op by Wisconsin called Foremost Farms. In Wisconsin, they have several cheese factories, and they don't have any in Michigan. Our milk is picked up every other day. 10 years ago, they were selling all our milk to a Deeds plant near Rochester, Indiana. Deeds, of course, made everything. The Deeds plant ran into some union problems, so they closed their door. Now, most of our milk is going up to a plant in Greenville, Michigan, where they're making powder out of it. 5% of United States dairy farmers are using robotic milkers. These basically are smaller farms. Now the bigger farms are putting robots in. Some of these big farms are putting over 100 robots in. They found that nobody wants to milk cows anymore. Actually, nobody wants to milk anything anymore. There's 5 companies that make robotic milkers in the world. They're all foreign except one. Our company, Vila Val, is in Sweden. They just doubled the size of their factory. If we were to order a new robot today, it would take us over a year to get it. They cannot make robotic milkers fast enough. The United States has lost 40,000 dairy farms in the last 20 years. Zelmer's being one of them. 35 years ago, our county had 35 dairy farms in it. Norman greeted one of them. Today there's 4.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Okay, let's go downstairs and very careful.
Oh, hello.
Beauregard.
Oh, my goodness.
What are your puppy's names, Bill?
His name is Beau, short for Beauregard.
Oh, my goodness.
All his litter mates had French names.
Oh.
He came from Murphy, North Carolina.
Oh, my goodness.
Where near Cheryl was, I think.
It honestly has the same. We have a dog that almost has the same like face pattern, like it looks like I have the eyebrows.
The lady had interviewed my son before she sell it to him.
Oh.
Yeah, all his litter mates had French names.
They're so friendly. That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, Matthew, you're dual wielding dogs.
This one greeted us at the door.
That's Annie.
She took us right on top.
She's like, I know where everything is.
I know where they are. I'll
She's
take you there.
a little bit too.
Oh, she's like,
A
what?
little too happy.
We're not invited here. You gotta stay here.
She's like, oh man.
She said, okay.
She comes with me wherever I go. When I come out,
She said, I'll take you up to Dad. I know exactly where
when I
he's
come
at.
out at midnight, she's with me.
Oh.
She likes when I go out
Hi,
and do
sir.
tractor work. She'll wait in front of the barn when I come back. Watch her step.
She apparently is.
Yeah, because there's a little grate. Look at these. We're good.
Hello, girl. Pearl.
my gosh. Look at the babies. Oh, so much.
Hi, baby.
Oh, there's one that's trying to get up.
The black ones are twins. One's a male, one's a female.
Oh.
As Rita well knows, when a twin is born, a female is born twin to a bull, 90% of the females are going to be sterile. They're called a free mark. I don't know why I don't let Rita hold this and run this instead of me. Milk cows is very difficult to get by milk in the United States without FDA regulation. Once a cow walks in the winter, I'm going to milk her. Once all the milk has been attached, it's usually going to take between 5 to 10 minutes to milk the average cow. As soon as the flow of milk in that piece, I'm sorry, what? 7. Uh-oh.
What? Oh, he's still nibbling your hand.
When we started milking here March 31st of 2016, our dealer brought 10 men up to push our cows into this new barn, and he brought 10 men up by himself. I attribute that to the fact that over half of our cows have been taken to the Marion County Youth Fair. Every year we're going to sign up
Andrew,
12 to 18 kids, let them take our cows to the county fairs.
Oh
We don't
goodness,
think
oh
it's very
goodness.
safe. And like 20 years ago, a sucker little boy wrote me a letter. If it's having trouble in finding a cow's teeth, it's probably because the television camera lens is dirty, which is going to spray water on the lens and rub itself up in the round spot you see on the right.
Mama, what just happened? Did you just get sucked by a kid? Hi. Oh my goodness, you're so cute. Oh, there you go. There you go. Now you're getting it. Oh my goodness. Hi. Hi. Oh. Okay, that feels weird. That feels wrong. Oh gosh. When it said sandpaper, I mean, it wasn't kidding, but hi, boy. Hi. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's sucking my hand. Ah.
Hi, baby.
Okay, that's enough.
You're near the baby.
Oh my goodness.
Poor baby.
That did not feel great. That felt so off. That felt so gross.
Baby, come on. Poor baby.
Oh. No, one hand at a time. One is. Yeah, that's what they do. Hi. Hi, baby. Be gentle. She was not a fan of it.
Done. So now it's being milked.
Hey, be gentle. Look, it's. You okay, Matthew? Oh, it's got your fingers. Are you okay? Well, it's told you. It's gonna smell like it. Feel like it. Be gentle and calm. If you do any sudden movements, it's gonna spook. So is this little baby a boy or a girl? That's another girl. Oh my goodness.
It's another newborn.
The little baby. Oh, wow. Wow, look at you. Are you you're recording it?
Yeah, I'm not getting licked. No. Are you getting licked? Oh.
Ah! Ah! Hi, you.
Hi, you.
Oh,
You're so nasty. Oh, you're so nasty.
Rebecca.
Hi.
Come on, let's go.
You're so nasty.
Rebecca, let's go. Come on.
Hi, baby.
Okay, let's Oh my. She is one with the cow. Come on, Rebecca. Rebecca, come on. Rebecca, let's go. Come, Rebecca. Do I have to drag you away from the cow? Okay.
My
No.
hands are roughed up.
Come on, let's go.
That my great grandfather used in 1800. Old plows and wagons didn't have tractors or trucks. This is the type of milker. We used to do that until 1991. We used to have 4 of those. We would milk 40 cows twice a day with those 4 milkers. Once we milked a cow that could hold up to 50 pounds of milk, we dumped that milk into another bucket and carried it in the milk house and dumped it in the milk tank to cool it from 101 down to 37 degrees. This is my great grandmother, Margaret's butter churn, be Henry's wife. Margaret would churn her butter, take her butter, cheese, and eggs, and take her bike and go to town. Margaret was kind of feisty. She liked to race other horses and buggies. The rest of the story goes that Margaret caught my Uncle Wade, you knew Wade, smoking the hired man cigarettes when he was a kid, and she didn't like that. So Margaret used this buggy whip on Uncle Wade, which Uncle Wade quit smoking cigarettes. Scared the crud out of the rest of the grandkids, they never even started smoking. I had a lady come out of Chicago a few summers ago to ask to borrow this, and she went to take it back so she could work on her husband and make him stop smoking. This is my grandpa's brother Bill's cream can. Uncle Bill lived in Berrien Springs, and when he milked his cows, he'd run the milk to the cream separator. He put the cream in this can and set that can on a stand by the side of the road. And every morning, a horse would wagon came by picking that can up and taking it into the dairy to make butter, cheese, or ice cream out of. The skim milk that was left, they either fed to the hogs or chickens. One more thing to show you. My first whip, then you'll be done. Step this way. You can all step up and fill the tank. You can all fill the tank, step in. I don't bite.
Or do you?
Or do
You can all fill the tank. You can all step up and fill the tank. It's not real cold. He came this morning. He comes every other morning. You can all step up and fill the tank. This is a 2,700 gallon stainless steel bog tank. It extends 10 foot in the next room. Our milk truck is coming every other day to pick up our milk. He backs a big semi-tanker up to that hole in the wall. He's going to put a big plastic hose through that hole. He's going to take this pipe off into the tank and hook his hose up there. He is then going to empty the tank of milk. When the tank is empty, the computer washer is going to take over, and it's just like your dishwasher. It's going to do a rinse, a detergent wash, another rinse, an ash wash, and a rinse. While he's here, the robots are going to shut down for about 45 minutes to make sure everything gets rinsed, washed, and drained. You're probably very likely to see 4 to 5 cows standing in front of the robots because he disrupted that cow's schedule. The milk is coming from the robots on this pipe, and there it's going to come through the filters, and the filters it's going to come through a plate cooler that's going to use water to cool the milk from 101 down to 38 degrees going into the tank. The tank will then cool from 38 down to 37. Once the milk's in the tank, there's an agitator. You see it looks like a boat propeller. Many times throughout the day, that's going to stir up all the milk so the cream will not separate from the skim. This is a 24/7 temperature monitor. The thing happened to Ron did several years ago. My oldest son had to come in one night about 11:30 and change the fuse. The big red spikes you see is when the tank is empty is being washed at 185 degrees temperature water. Rest is all 37 degrees. Each one of these paper discs is going to last for about a week. We have to keep all these on file so when our milk inspector comes twice a year unannounced, she can go through every one of them. So just to give you some idea how a cow has a schedule, a few summers ago my youngest son was out here and he watched 3 cows get up. Each cow got up and walked through a robot without getting milk. So Wyatt went in on the computer and checked their times. One cow is 7 minutes early, one cow is 10 minutes early, the other cow is 13 minutes early. Each cow walked through the robot a few more times till their time cleared and they got milk. If they come too early from being milked the last time, they can still walk through the robot. They won't get milk, but they might get some leftover pellets from the previous cow. Before we built our barn here, We went and looked at a farm in northern Indiana, and he had robots and he had some jerseys. One of his jerseys went through one of his robots one night 200 times. Last fall, Wyatt was out here and he watched 2 cows get up. Each cow came up, walked through a robot, didn't get milk. They came out of that robot, they walked into the opposite robot. Just that short amount of time cleared them to getting milk. I think that's pretty amazing. They have a better schedule than I do, or a better clock and a better clock in them. My first group is done. The last group, I still have a few more things to put. I don't think I could live through the second time. Yeah. We used to start our tour with a 14-minute video. My wife and son maybe quit doing that. They didn't think it was appropriate to make a little kid sit through that. You can still see it on YouTube. In that video is going to show a cow will have a white circular tag in her left ear, which you already seen. And when she walks into one of our robots, it's called an RFID tag. And in that tag, there's a computer chip. So when she walks into one of our robots, that is going to tell the robot what her name is, how many pounds of milk she gave the last milking, how many pounds of pellets she should be fed this milking, and a host of other things. Also, that video is going to show, what you've already seen, the yellow cylindrical brushes, which the cow can walk up and bump, and that brush will start turning to give that cow a great back scratch or butt scratch and make a smaller version for calves.
That part cracks me up.
My 2 sons, 33 and 36, are the 5th generation to operate this dairy farm. We started building these 2 barns back on March 15. We milked our first cows in March of 16, 8-year build. We found that we have guests coming from around the world. Just last summer, we had some farmers come through from Beijing and Taiwan, taking our needs back to their farms. We also had guests from Brazil and India come through.
Wow.
This year, we've already had guests from Australia and Belarus come through, so it's very exciting to be able to share our farm with these foreign guests as well.
That's awesome.
My great-grandfather, Henry Schuler, pictured on the table behind you, sir, bought this farm back in 1882. That makes 142 years on his piece of dirt. Before he bought this farm, Henry owned a farm just a half mile down the road. When this farm became abandoned, it had been called Mrs. Lawrence's Dairy Farm. The lady used to make cheese here. This house was built in 1848. The house had a cheese room in it. She ended up losing it. I think her husband possibly got killed during the Civil War, which probably caused her to lose the farm. When he bought this farm, he had previous home on the farm just a half mile down the road of 160 acres. When this farm became available, he sold his 60-acre farm and moved up here and bought 160 acres, so it was a larger farm. What he found was only 40 acres had been cleared off of trees. So he had to cut all the rest of the black walnut trees down, which are right where this barn is, and pile them up and burn it up because no one had the wood. Henry used 2 teams of oxen, that's a big old cow, to pull the stumps out. This is one of the 2 oxen yoke, and the other one's at the top of the stairs, which Henry had to make and use to do that with. We had no idea these oxen yoke even existed until about 20 years ago. We pulled down an old building and we found these 2 oxen yokes stored up in the attic. Believe me, that's one barn we're very glad we never burned down. A cow is going to be eating over 80 pounds of food a day. She'll drink between 30 to 40 gallons of water. These hot days, probably drinking very close to 40 gallons of water. She's going to produce over 80 pounds or more, or 10 gallons of milk every day. And she's going to poop over 80 pounds. That's more than she weighs.
Ouch.
A cow's going to be chewing their cud. Their cud is regurgitated food about the size of my fist, and she's going to re-chew that another 60 to 70 times before she swallows it for the second time. Over the course of a day, that cow might chew between 60 and 70,000 times. Would you believe my wife's going to put me on that kind of a diet? I was still eating supper last night.
Oh, no.
A cow has 4 stomachs. She has 10 gallons of blood in her body. She needs to eat 100,000 calories a day to produce 100 pounds of milk a day. And she needs 500 gallons of blood to go through her udder just to produce 1 gallon of milk. That's a real blood, heart, and pumping machine, if you ask me. A cow can smell water up to 7 miles away.
Wow. Wow.
Back in the range when they had the cattle drives across the Chisholm Trail and all them big cattle drives, that caused a lot of stampedes when the cows could smell water and they were thirsty, you couldn't hold them. They were going to run right over you.
Oh.
Any questions? Because I just about run out of everything I've done. If I gotta say any more, I'm gonna make Cheryl sit there for me. And if she can't finish, we're gonna get Rita to finish.
Yeah, Mom do it. I vote for my mama.
Matthew, Sissy, do you have any?
Well, thanks very kindly.
Yes, thank you so much. I know.
They would eat it if I could. They would love it.